All right then, Shakin by Eddie Money from his 1982 album No Control. Been on a bit of an Eddie Money kick around here the past couple of weeks. Did a cover and tutorial for 2 Tickets to Paradise last week and have been listening to lots and lots of Eddie Money over the past month or so. And this was yet again another track of his that caught my ear this week and sent me running off to my studio to learn it, and subsequently the tutorial that you're now watching. Just great stuff. Great classic, straight-ahead, radio-friendly rock and roll from the late 70s and early 80s. You know, like, who doesn't love Eddie Money, or at least like Eddie Money? He was one of those artists, kind of like, Fleetwood Mac or Bob Seger or Tom Petty, so on and so forth, who pretty much everyone enjoyed, from pop music fans to the metalheads. It was just good, catchy, right down the middle, immensely listenable rock and roll, palatable to pretty much everyone who likes good music. Type of rock and roll music that we could use just a little bit more of these days, I have to say. Regardless, rambling a bit here, sorry about that. Let's dig into this one, shall we? We're not dealing with anything too overly complicated here with this one, just 3 basic power chords throughout the entire track. We are in standard tuning, by the way. A, 3-finger power chords, B, and G. And that's it. Those are all the chords that you need to know to play this one. During the opening, there's a very short guitar solo. There's also a short guitar solo in the middle of this one. Some fill lines, little lead lines during the choruses. Going to show you those as well. But the track itself starts with drums, and once the band kicks in, we're kicking in with this. A power chord, we're going to hit it 3 times and then move it into B. Right? And then we're going to go back to the A, hit it 2 more times, and then repeat. And you're going to repeat that twice. So 3 times, move into B. And then you're going to go back to A, hit it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then move it back into B again. And you repeat that whole sequence twice. 5 times. And now we're into the first verse. Now during that opening, there's a short guitar solo. It goes something like this. Now the guitar solos in this one, I think, are by guitarist Jimmy Lyon, who played on the first couple of Eddie Money albums and then left the band and joined the Greg Kihn band, but came back a number of times throughout the 80s and guest appeared on a number of tracks, and I'm pretty sure that he guest appeared on this track. But that is the opening solo. So it starts with a bend on the 9th fret. All of the fill lines and solos are in the B minor pentatonic, right? Just pentatonic fill lines and whatnot. So it starts with a volume swell bend on the 9th fret of the G string, so you can have your volume off, pick the note, and then raise the volume, right, as you're kind of releasing the bend. And then you drop into a hammer-on from 7 to 9 of the D string into this. So down to the 7 of the G, back to the 9, little hammer-on, 7 to 9, back to 7 of the D, and then we're into another bend on the 9, and we're going to do that. So you're going to bend that 9 on the G a full step, and then you're going to start rapidly picking it as you're releasing the bend, and then finally release it off to 7. Just as the vocals come in, you're going to drop onto that 9 of the D and let it ring. So that's the intro solo. Now we're into the first verse. The first verse is the same thing that we were doing at the very beginning of the track, A to B, except we're just going to hit it 3 times and then move it into B, and you're going to repeat that 4 times. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Like I said, you repeat this 4 times. Now as the lead into the chorus, we're going to go back to A, hit it 4 times, 2, 3, 4, and now we're into the chorus. We're going to hit that A one more time and then jump it into B. Off to G, back to A. Repeat. And that's the chorus. Into the second verse, hit that A 3 more times, and then move it into B. And now we're into the second verse. And during that chorus, there's some little fill lines that Jimmy does, and there's 4 of them actually, and this is the first one. Simple, just a little bend, 9, off to 7 of the G, grabbing the 9 of the D, choking the note off. That's the first fill line. The second fill line, couple of bends, 10th fret, bend, release of the B, same thing on the 9 of the G, and then release off to 7. So that's the second fill line. The third fill line, D and the G string, 9th fret and the 7th fret. Finishing on the 9. The fourth fill line, A and the D string, same frets. Finishing with the 9 off to 7 of the D. Just as the vocals come in, you're going to hammer back onto that 9 and let it ring. So those are the fill lines. And now we're into the second verse. Second verse, same as the first. 4 times. Repeat that. Lead into the chorus, back to the A 4 times. Chorus. A, B, G to A. Same as the first chorus. Fill lines are different though. The fill lines during the second chorus, there's 3 of them. The first one's just a bend on the 9, like a double bend. We'll kind of slide out of it, right? Little vibrato, slide out of it. Second fill line, something like that. 11th fret, step and a half bend. Back to the natural note and then go 11, 10, 9. Off to 7, finish on the 9 of the D, choke the note off. Kind of like that. Third fill line, just a bend on the 12th fret. You know, something like that. Not exactly sure what it is, but it's a very, just like 3 notes. Full step bend at the 12th fret. You know, finishing on the 12. Slide out of that. And those are the little fill lines during the second chorus. And that leads into the solo. And the solo starts with a big pick scrape, you know, down the neck. Goes something like this. Right, so after the pick scrape, we're going to drop into a bending double stop here on the 9th fret of the G and the B. And we're just going to let that hang for a couple of measures. And then after you let that double stop hang up there for a bit, you're going to pick it and release it off to the 5. And then you're going to drop onto a single note on the 9th fret of the G. You're going to do the exact same thing without the double stops this time. And then we're going to go 7, 6, 7, 6 of the G. And then grab the 7 of the D, slide it into 9. And then we're into this little lick. Probably the hardest lick because it's fairly quick. It's a little bit awkward. Hammering on 7 to 9 of the G, sliding into 11. And then you got to drop down here on the 10s and ride down the 10s of the B and the high E. right into a full step bend on the 12 of the B. Back to the 10 of the high E, back into the bend, and then release the bend off to the 11 of the G. Right? And down to the 12 of the high E. And then we're into that little progression there. Full step bend of the 12. And you're going to release it. And then you're going to pick it twice and pull it off to 10. And then we're just going to kind of continue that progression down the scale, but we're going to be doing little slides instead of pull-offs. So you're going to pick that 10 twice, slide it back to 9, pick that twice, slide it back to 7. And then you're going to pick that 7 once and slide it back to 2. And pick that once after you slide back to it. Drop onto the 5. And then repeat that 4 times. Just little pull-offs from 5 to 2, right? So you repeat that 4 times, that little pull-off sequence there between 5 and 2, and then finally drop onto the 5 and choke the note off, and that is the end of the guitar solo. So let's run through that guitar solo before moving on. Big pick slide. Right? Now everything kind of chills out. We're going to drop into an A power chord, play it palm muted, nice and lightly, A to B to G to A. I'm going to repeat this 8 times. And that's the first 4, right? And at the very last time you go to G, after you repeat that 8 times, we're going to start building up into the final chorus. Same thing, just heavier, you know. Now we're into the final chorus. And you repeat that, I think, 8 times during the outro. The chorus kind of doubles itself. And all through the outro chorus, there's more little fill lines and kind of like an outro solo. We're not going to get into that. It's just a lot of the same kind of stuff that we were already playing, right? Just little fill lines in the B minor pentatonic. You know, just any kind of little pentatonic. You know, just improvise, have fun with the outro solo to this one. And that's it, my friends. That is how you play Shakin' by Eddie Money with, I believe, Jimmy Lyon on guitar. I certainly hope you found that helpful. And if you did, please hit that like button. Drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be very helpful to my channel. And I hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, wherever that may be. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.